Okay, so if you're here watching this video, then you're probably a contractor who services an area where the fire department or the local AHJ has opted in to use FireModule to manage these reports, these third-party inspection reports that you typically fill out and normally send to them. So what we're going to see in this video, I'm going to show you two things. One, I'm going to show you how to actually submit a report, and two, I'm going to show you what's actually happening here in the dashboard. So first up, let's talk about submitting a report. To submit a report, super easy. Just hit the submit report button up here in the top right, and you'll go through and you'll fill out these fields. A lot of them are pretty self-explanatory. So fire department is just the fire department you want to send the report to. The building address is the address of the premise that you performed work at. Yeah, you'll see this drop down here. These addresses are provided by Google's API, like Google Maps and such. But sometimes you do work at an address that's not actually in Google. If for whatever reason the address is missing from this drop down, you can go ahead and just input everything manually by clicking this checkbox right here. We'll go ahead and skip that for this video just because save some time. Address line 2 is very simple, just as address line 2 normally is. Sometimes you'll be performing an inspection inside of a unit of a bigger commercial building. So if the report that you're submitting for is for a particular unit or apartment or suite or whatever, you can go ahead and put that in address line 2. There are two rules that the system will tell you about. The first rule is that, let's just say we'll do suite 400. The first rule that this red will tell you right here is that we'd like it if you didn't include any prefixes such as unit, floor, suite, just because it sort of muddies the database. So with anything like that, please go ahead and X-nay that first part. Also, this particular input doesn't allow for any spaces. So just go ahead and put either the number or the letter in there. If it is a combination, let's say at this commercial building, there's unit 400A and 400B. Um, if it is a combination of letters and numbers, just go ahead and get rid of that space. It'll make the system happy. But we'll say that's the address line two for right now. Building owner's phone, super straightforward. Conducted on is just the day in which you conducted the inspection. The system is the particular system that you performed work on. Depending on what fire department you're submitting to, this system's dropdown can be different. If you do not see a particular system, like for example, we don't see fire extinguishers in this dropdown, that means that the AHJ here at Springfield Fire Department doesn't actually want reports for fire extinguishers. So you can only submit reports for the systems that they've approved. And if you have a report that is not one of these systems, then the AHJ does not want to review it. But for the sake of this, we'll go ahead and hit sprinkler system. The inspection type is just the kind of service that was performed. Sprinkler systems, obviously, they can have a 1 year inspection. They also have 5 year inspections. If you're going back and repairing a deficient system, that repair report you can just go ahead and mark as repair. But for the sake of this demonstration, we'll just go ahead and say it's a simple 1 year sprinkler system inspection. The inspection outcome is either it can pass or fail. If it passes, great. If it fails, you can actually go through and include the deficiencies, include all of the deficiencies that you've identified during the report, so or the inspection. So let's um, say there's a corroded nozzle. That's not how you spell nozzle. There is low water pressure. And then whenever this gets sent through, these are the deficiencies that the AHJ will see your report, obviously, but this also pulls the deficiencies up to their attention. And then finally, all you need to do is just upload a report. And then you can go through and check to see if there are any typos. If there aren't any typos, great, you can hit this button. Go ahead and submit it. You'll notice some text down here. This is just explaining when to submit separate reports versus one report. I know things can get a little complicated when submitting documentation for a big commercial building that has multiple separate systems and such. Hopefully this description clears things up for you. Obviously, if you have any questions, you can reach me at support@firemodule.io, or you can reach out to your local AHJ. But in any case, these are the only forms you need to fill out. and then you simply submit the button, and that goes off to the AHJ. There is one more thing I should mention. Some departments have opted into the free model of the software, which means that you can submit these things no problem. There are fire departments, however, that have opted into paid features to submit reports to those departments, and you'll know which departments those are. If you hit the drop down and you select a department, if the department has a paid version, it'll say this department utilizes paid features. To submit a report, please subscribe. Subscribing to these kind of departments is very simple. You just hit the subscribe button, and it will open a Stripe checkout in another page. Stripe is one of the leading providers in the world when it comes to secure transmission of payment information. It's things like Amazon, Google, they use it. So don't need to worry about anything here. But you go ahead and put in your information. I already have a card on file, so you only ever need to put in the information once. But you can go ahead and subscribe if you are not subscribed to the department that you're trying to submit a report for. It'll bounce you back here, says it's okay to close the tab now, and you'll notice that that subscribe button is no longer here, which means you are subscribed to the department. You don't ever have to worry about going through and paying these invoices. They should automatically charge at the end of every week. There's also invoices for you to, there are invoices available for you to view in the account information page in the bottom right, but we won't go over that. But in any case, just wanted to throw that out there. So that's how you submit a report. And then what's going on here in the dashboard is also pretty simple. Each one of these is an individual report you've submitted. You have the shorthand of the address. If you go ahead and click on it, it'll give you the longhand as well as the building owner's phone. It'll tell you the kind of system that was inspected. If it's green, that means you thought it passed the inspection. If it's red, that means you thought it didn't pass the inspection. If you click on the red ones, you can actually see the deficiencies that you identified during that inspection. And then gray just means it was a repair report that was submitted, and so there's not really a pass fail there. That repair report gets automatically attached in the fire marshal's dashboard to the deficient report it goes with. But you can also see the inspection frequency for that inspection. If you click on that, it'll give you granular details like when the inspection was conducted, when it was submitted to the fire department, what fire department it was submitted to. You can also view the report as a PDF, as another tab in your browser. This is obviously just a dummy report to show you how it works. There's another column on the main dashboard that'll tell you when it was submitted. And then finally, there's the status column here. So a report is typically going to be one of four statuses. It's going to be pending, which just means that the fire marshal hasn't taken a look at it yet. They haven't made a decision. Compliant means that they looked at the report. Everything looked good, no deficiencies, so they went ahead and marked it compliant. Deficient means that there were deficiencies associated with the system that need to be repaired. So here, like I said, if you click the red under the system, it'll tell you the deficiencies that you've identified. If you click the red under status, it'll tell you what deficiencies the fire marshal thinks need to be addressed. Sometimes, a lot of times, they'll be the same as the ones you've inputted. Sometimes they'll be different, but this will basically tell you what needs to be fixed. And then finally, there is the submitted status, which just belongs to repair reports because, again, they're not making an actual decision on the repair, they're making a decision on the inspection report that was submitted for that address. So the way that it works is this fire alarm went in, it was marked deficient, and then when you submitted this repair report at the same address, the old report gets changed to pending, and now the AHJ can make a decision about that original port with the repair report in mind. But that's the software, super simple stuff. Like I said, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me at support@firemodule.io, or you can email my email directly, jacob.nicholson@firemodule.io. But hopefully, super simple for you guys. The last thing I should mention is that whenever a report is marked deficient, or whenever a system is coming due for inspection, or something goes past due, we send a notification to the email on file saying, hey, this system is either coming due for inspection, or it's past due, or there's some deficiencies. We just send you those notifications. We know that's how obviously contractors make money as they perform inspections. So we want to get inspection reminders in front of you guys so that you can make more money, and obviously so people are more code compliant. But yeah, that's the software. We hope you like it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.